Welcome back to the channel. Jason, living in Aurora, agent with EXP here. Today we're going to start comparing cities around the Denver metro area. Everybody knows Denver, Colorado, Denver Broncos, Denver Nuggets, um, all of that perspective. But now what's, specifically differences between those cities? So see you on the other side. All right, so I was just got back actually from San Diego area. My son had his final baseball tournament there. We were north of San Diego, Carlsbad, Oceanside, Vista, California, so all around that area. But it got me thinking about this channel, other channels like it, and describing areas. And I was kind of curious, what's kind of the difference between all these? Obviously, Oceanside, Carlsbad, right on the ocean. You can get that perspective, but like Vista, a little town just east of Carlsbad there, where we stayed. What goes on there. Specifically, I was looking for gas prices. They're way higher than they are here, but kind of just some general information. So we did go on YouTube and looked around, on Google, as we probably all do, of things to do. But it kind of got me thinking about back here. And people always think about Denver, like I mentioned in the intro, that, Denver, Colorado, people know that name from the sports teams, from skiing, whatever. They know Colorado, they know Denver. But as you dig down deeper, you're starting to think about move here or any other areas, things to do, differences in towns. It got me to think about, while I live in Aurora, I always lived in Aurora since 1980. Grew up here, all of that. What's kind of the difference between Aurora and other cities around the metro area? Because Denver, in actuality, is quite small, but it's surrounded by much larger cities that make up the Denver area. One that usually comes up that people want to look at is Parker, Colorado, just south, again, suburb of Denver, south of Aurora, on the east side of the whole kind of metro area. But they're fairly similar in some aspects and obviously different in others. As you can see on the screen, I have the boundaries for Aurora. The landmass is large. Actually, from a mailing perspective, all this is Aurora. Centennial came in and took out some of it's unincorporated. But as you can see, Aurora is expanded up to the north, northeast. All this is fairly new that they're developing. But it also gets into, close to Denver, borders Denver here, along I-70. And then, as we've talked about a lot, on the south side here. I live in this little block here that isn't officially Aurora, but our mailing address is Aurora. It's unincorporated Arapahoe County. But again, it's the third or second largest land area behind Colorado Springs, which is way south, and it's third in population, but behind Denver and Colorado Springs. So as you can see, it's quite large. If I go over and change this to Parker, you'll see the difference in size. So as you can see, it's a lot smaller, just south of Aurora, but it has a lot of good things going for it. One, it is expanding. They've expanded out beyond this area here. This is mailing address of Parker, borders up to Castle Pine. Excuse me. This reservoir is relatively new. It's been filling up over the past decade or so. They're just starting to get some water activities in there. Haven't allowed the boats, motorized activity, but they are allowing fishing and some paddle boards, canoes, that type of thing. But one thing that's really nice about Parker is it still does have a small town feel to it. They have a real nice downtown area that they do a lot of activities around. It's off of Main Street, kind of typical small town. having an actual street that's Main Street. But down in here, let's see right here. Yeah, so here's Main Street. They have this park area. They do their biggest event during the summer is Parker Days. It's in July. It's a huge event that goes on. This is Old Town, downtown, little older historic buildings, all back in here. I can say Rory Diner is actually a really good diner, individually owned. They do good meals all throughout the day. I've been there quite a bit, but so here's where you kind of get that small town feel, and then it expands from there. They have all the housing options from apartments for rent, condos, purchase townhomes, single family homes. As you go to the south and east, you can get a little bit bigger lot area. Again, this is the official borders of the town of Parker, but the Pinery is also a Parker mailing address. Real nice area, golf course in there. Canterbury Crossing used to be the Canterbury Golf Course. They've changed that name to Black Bear. And this area here is mailing address of Parker. You get a little bit bigger lots in here. And the interesting thing is Parker, from a mailing address perspective, actually goes way out here. So it's interesting. The official city boundaries are here. Parts that are unincorporated are still mailing address Parker. It makes the landmass a lot bigger. But again, the biggest selling point of Parker is the still kind of small town feel, and it's centered around Main Street here, and the older buildings, old businesses that have been in there. It's a real nice walkable area. Their prices tend to be a tad bit higher than some of the Aurora areas. It's relatively newer. It's funny, Stonegate, all these parts. This is all Parker. But otherwise, the housing in Southeast Aurora compared to Parker is very similar. In Aurora, you do have the Cherry Creek Reservoir, which you can do everything on. Aurora is very similar to the Parker Reservoir, and Quincy, again, is just fishing. But as far as getting into lower priced homes, this north part of Aurora handles that a little better. We do have the Air Force Base. But again, just to think about what you like to do, what appeals to you. That's really what I'm trying to get at in these videos, to give you an insight as to what may appeal to you, what you may like about areas, things of that nature. Aurora does have a downtown area. It isn't visited very much. It's off of Colfax, which is the longest running street in the United States, actually. So it starts here. It's the business I-70. Starts here where it comes off from I-70 on the east side and actually goes all through town. Straight shot, continuous until it runs into I-70 again on the west side. But as you can see, it's a very long road. But downtown, when people think of downtown Aurora, it's this stretch here. It is a lot of older buildings, older shops. It's kind of gotten a resurgent with the Children's Hospital, Anschutz Medical Campus, VA Hospital that's here. But I would say it does not have the greatest reputations. Has had crime in the past, little lower values of property. Things haven't appreciated as much there as they have further south. But for a first-time home buyer looking to get a home, they do have some real nice quality homes. A lot of investors are in this area, fixing and flipping homes, making it a lot better. And so there is opportunity in here for sure. As you start getting south along a 225, it just gets better and better and better. So this is definitely the age, older homes, older communities that Parker does not have. So there is opportunity there to get a home, actual single family home, where in Parker you probably couldn't get it for those prices. I got a little friend flying around. But again, as I've talked about all these neighborhoods here within Aurora, a lot more variety in Aurora than there is in Parker from a housing perspective. Pretty much all the recreational opportunities are pretty much similar. Again, the Aurora Reservoir is not too, or Cherry Creek Reservoir is not too far from either. You just go down Parker Road as the main road to get down into the city of Parker, and it goes right by the Cherry Creek Reservoir. Shopping, big right here. Call it Corner Star, Arapahoe Road and Parker Road. Another shopping right on the cruddy corner. This golf course here is a private golf course. This is mailing address Aurora. Foxfield is actually its own little city. But damn, it's fun. I don't know what the problem is, but so again, things to do in all the areas are pretty similar. Biking trails are all over the place in both cities. It's actually really good around the whole metro area. They actually just put in a overpass on Parker right in here for the bike path. So now it goes over Parker Road, which again they haven't even opened it yet. It's brand new, but it shows their commitment to the pass around here. Again, the whole metro area. So again, if you have any questions on specific towns, I'll do more comparisons, deep dives into other cities around the metro area. As you can tell, there's a bunch of them. It's a huge metro area. Boulder kind of tops on the north side. There is Loveland, Longmont, Johnstown, Loveland, and then you get up to Fort Collins, a big college town. Down to south, pretty much Castle Rock kind of cuts off the south part. There is a Larkspur and the Monument, and then you get into Colorado Springs. But there's not much building down here as there is on the north side. This pretty much now I-25 going north is fairly continuous. There's not as much open space as there used to be. Similar I-36 going up to Boulder. That used to be a pretty blank drive, and now there's no gaps in it whatsoever. But again, as you can see, metro area is quite large. There's a lot of cities around it, so you can deep dive into those. Denver's the oldest, and it did kind of grow from Westminster, Arvada, Lakewood, out to east from a aging perspective. But it centers around Denver, Colfax, again, the big thoroughfare. Things went east and west on Colfax, and then north and south off of that. But great place to be, great place to live, a lot of activities. Everything you could want is around here, except for big bodies of water. As you can tell on the map, we don't have a lot of that. Chatfield Reservoir, Cherry Creek Reservoir, Bar Lake. You can all do all the boating, everything you want. A couple other bodies of water, more for paddleboarding, fishing, non-motorized sports stuff. But that's always been my one wish, that we had a bigger body of water around. But you can't have everything. We have everything else. So again, if you have any questions on Aurora, City of Aurora, Parker, or if you give comments on any other city you'd like me to jump into, I can do those next. Have a great week. Again, if you have any questions, my phone number is below here. Call or text, or my Calendly link is in the description. Feel free to reach out anytime. I'm here for all your housing needs.